Many members emphasized the importance of infrastructure, both to get high growth, which we've targeted, also to ensure that growth is inclusive. Because really, and within infrastructure, power was mentioned very heavily, in the sense that we cannot expect to have a competitive manufacturing sector, especially a competitive small, medium, micro manufacturing sector, unless you have ample and good quality availability of power. Linked to power was the issue of fuel availability. So several ministers emphasized that we need to be able to resolve problems in these different ministries which hold up implementation. The plan has many ideas and proposals in that regard, and I think we gained a lot from that discussion. We'll be reflecting that in the final version of the plan. I think those are the main points. Yes, I think one important issue which did come up, and that is that one of our major innovations, if you like, in the 12th plan is the effort to rationalize and reform the system of centrally sponsored schemes. The B.K. Chaturvedi committee had made a set of recommendations. We've actually strongly endorsed that. We've discussed them with the finance minister, who is actually very supportive. One of the key elements in these recommendations is the introduction of flexibility. So there are really two ways in which flexibility is going to be introduced. We are going to continue with centrally sponsored schemes. So we are not going to transform those into normal central assistance. But the flexibility will take two forms. First of all, the guideline for each scheme. While there will be a sort of a national guideline, states will have the opportunity to discuss with the ministry concerned and the Planning Commission state-specific modification of the guidelines. So in certain states, if some guidelines aren't quite right, for that state those guidelines can be modified on an agreed basis. Independent of the flexibility introduced in the guidelines, a certain percentage of the money that goes to the state under a centrally sponsored scheme will actually be made flexible, in the sense that it can be spent for that general purpose, but in as innovative a way as the state wants, without having to go even by the modified guidelines that have been agreed. I mean, the idea is to create flexibility, to encourage ownership, and to let states experiment. And if we do that, we are quite convinced that that will actually have a big spin-off in terms of greater efficiency. Those are broadly the issues we have been asked to incorporate the concerns and views expressed, so that in terms of nuances they are reflected in the plan document. I think that will be done over the next week or so, and then we've been asked to go for cabinet and try to get cabinet approval as quickly as possible.